Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omni viewer, and now that I've completed my review of the book MEG, a novel of deep sea terror, I may as well share my thoughts on the trailer for The MEG, a movie based on a novel of deep sea terror. I must say, I cannot remember the last time I was this confused by a trailer. Not because of what it presents, but because of how it was presented. And apparently I'm not alone in that regard. At first, the trailer starts off like a very intense sort of thriller movie with a big scary monster and a very dark, serious mood. Then the lounge music kicks in, and the tone suddenly becomes a bit like a silly action movie. So that's a thing. What are we supposed to take away from it? Well, after giving the trailer a couple of views and really thinking about it for a little bit, I think I know what the movie's actually going for. It's trying to be like a 1950s B-movie. I believe it's the music that's making me think that as far as tone goes. That's the sort of music you would expect to hear in a 1950s B-movie at some point. Now bear in mind, I don't think they're deliberately trying to make a bad movie, not like The Asylum might do. This doesn't strike me as having the mindset of, we're deliberately making a bad movie because we think we're clever and we don't know what irony means and we're counting on internet buzz to generate all of the press for us. It strikes me more that they have the mindset of, we know exactly what kind of movie this is and we'd be crazy if we tried replicating Jaws, so darn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I will tell you all right now, this is not going to be a faithful adaptation of the book. There are a couple of shots which I recognize as being from the book, but otherwise it's unrecognizable. According to some people I've spoken to, it seems like what the movie is doing is actually adapting the first book as well as its sequel, The Trench. I have not started reading The Trench yet as of this particular video, but I am going to now that I know that. So that does have me a tiny bit worried. After all, the last movie I saw that tried to cram multiple books into a single adaptation was Disney's John Carter. That movie inexplicably crammed the first 3 Barsoom novels into one film, and it wound up busting at the seams as a result. Also telling me this probably won't be a faithful adaptation? Casting Jason Statham as Jonas Taylor. Jonas Taylor is not the kind of character Jason Statham normally plays. And I couldn't help but notice that he only had 2 or 3 lines in the entirety of the trailer. It's kind of weird when you have a trailer where your main character barely says anything. The last time I remember seeing something like that was the first full trailer for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, where Superman literally did not speak a single word. So either Statham is playing against type, or they changed Jonas quite significantly. So all of the evidence says this probably won't be the most faithful adaptation ever. But then again, that in and of itself isn't enough to have me thinking the movie will be a disaster. It all lies in the presentation after all. Jurassic Park is most certainly not a faithful adaptation of its source material, and yet that movie is amazing. So non-faithful adaptations of books can work. The question is, will that work for the MEG? I'm certainly hoping it does. I'm also hoping that adapting 2 books in one film doesn't turn out to be a mistake. I mean, if the movie does well, that means they kinda have to jump ahead to make the sequel. Or they could always adapt The Lock. Well, either way, you can bet I'll be in the theater on opening day. This is promising to be different from the average shark movie, which there's an unusually great abundance of, isn't there? I ought to make a video investigating why that is. So as always, you're free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and I'd also encourage you to read the original books, and watch my review of the first book if you haven't already. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off.